Here we go. So I'm gonna start out and just warm him up. Grommet. And I don't care if he's making like beautiful direct eye contact. I just want to see that his nose is pointing toward me. Grommet. So that's going well. I can start to toss the treat to add distraction. Grommet. Find it. Grommet. I just want to see that his nose swings toward me when I say his name. So that's going well. So now I'm going to add a distraction. Um, so let's see. I'm going to get this toy. I'm going to put the toy. Grommet. Grommet. Hello. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Grommet. Okay. So how did that go? Went well. What could have gone better?
I mean, he was paying a ton of attention to you before you put the toy down, and then a new and exciting thing happened, and so he was investigating it and ignored his name but responded to a sound. So he responded to you on the second end, which is still pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. So first I said his name. He didn't respond. I forgot to do the noise and I said his name again. That didn't work. Then I did the noise and that did work. Is there something I could have done to make it easier for him to respond the first time and not have had to get flustered, say his name twice, use the sound? Anything I could have done to make it a little easier, more successful right off the bat?
Put the toy a little farther away.
Yeah. What if I did that? What if I put this toy over here? I'm going to lure him toward me with a treat so he doesn't go over there. Okay. Grommet. 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 So I did two things differently this time. One is I put the toy further away. Great suggestion. And the other is I had been using kibble and now I switched to chicken. And you can see he is riveted. So free, find it. Um, so let's have everybody practice that with their dogs. If you have questions, give me a wave. How's
Okay.
Rosie doing? Good.
Right. Let's get a different. Here we go. Oh, what do you think about this? Rosie? Yes.
Good girl.
Uh-huh. Yes. Let's see. Ooh, this is a weird toy. Oh, okay. Rosie? Yes.
Good. I like that you waited for her. You didn't repeat her name. That was great.
Good.
Um, so
Rosie?
good,
Yes. All right.
good,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
good girl. Nice.
Okay. Let's see. What else can I put down?
Also do something like if you've got a fan or something, it's pretty hot here these days. You could like put a fan on and stick like a piece of paper in front of the fan
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
Right.
Uh, or one of the moving toys, or you could have like a person, if there's a family member, who stand up and sit down is usually a pretty distracting thing. Just having somebody moving a little bit in the environment can be quite distracting. That looks really good.
Okay.
You
We'll
can
do.
keep up the good work with Rosie, and I'm going to check in on Rue. Sky and John, if you're great, if you want to unmute.
Hi,
Hi, how's Rue doing?
this is the baby bell. And
Hmm.
okay, yes, Ruben. Yeah. Ruben.
Good.
Ruben. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. So she's doing really well. I would say you could add a little bit of challenge by having her up on your feet instead of lying down. It's definitely more difficult for dogs to pay attention when they're up and moving.
Okay.
So when you mark for looking at you, toss the treat on the floor
Okay.
so that she has to move to get it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep, and let's try that. Good.
Get it.
Good girl. Good. She's like, I'm staying away from that. Beautiful. Good girl. And then toss it to over toward the teddy bear. Okay, yeah, that's fine too. Good girl. Great. So, and is John there in the room with you?
Yeah.
Okay, hello. So one thing that makes a good distraction is you can pick up the thing that's on the floor and you can just work with like every time if Sky's training, every time that so if you pick up whatever that food thing is on the floor, so instead of no whatever the thing that she's there that is sorry, so instead of using that, then you can use a person, which is sort of a natural distraction. So
Okay.
you say Rue, and then John like walks a couple feet, you
Okay.
know, or you say Rue and John sits down or John stands up or he picks up a newspaper or whatever. So that you're working with sort of a natural environmental distraction. You can try adding, increasing, and he can increase the level of distraction if it's too easy, and if it's too hard, he can decrease it.
Okay.
Talking, dancing around, whatever, you can just adjust and you can ask whoever's training the dog can ask the other person, make it easier, make it harder, you know, do less, do more.
Okay. That
Yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
great.
Need another treat.
She's distracted.
That's a pretty big distraction.
Rue.
So that might be too much. What can you
Yeah.
do? It's too much, but what could you do if this was a real world distraction to make it easier for her to respond to you right now? Oh, good girl. You could, go ahead.
We could move her away from it. I guess that's one of our problems is that like sit is that she really loves people like so much and like because we live in an apartment we have to bring her outside like a lot to the
Yeah,
bathroom. But we
yeah.
also live in like a highly foot trafficked area
Mhm.
and so like I don't know, like just giving her like a quick tug doesn't really deter her.
Right,
And also like
right,
when she's outside, she's not that interested in treats.
right.
So
Okay,
I'm not really sure.
right. So
Do
what I would try is do a lot of this training with the two of you where you are like, because in that scenario, you could get closer to her.
okay.
So if she's playing with something with John, you close the distance and get closer to her. That's going to make it easier.
Okay.
And I would do use very high value treats
Okay.
when there's other people around and do a lot of engage, disengage. So
Okay.
if you live in an apartment and there's like if you can stand in your doorway and not leave the apartment and she can still see people, I would
Yeah.
start with that where you just click and treat her with really high value stuff like hot dogs or hamburger or cheese or liverwurst or stuff that has a really strong smell that's like a
Okay.
fresh human food
Yeah.
every time she sees a person, and that you're only using that high value treat for those situations. Don't use it for like sit and down and whatever.
Okay.
And start where the people are at a distance. And then when she's doing well with that, then you can start to do it when people are a little closer and a little closer. So she's going to learn at this stage, she's going to be like, there's a person, where's my chicken? There's a person, where's my liverwurst?
Yeah.
You know? So,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
great.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, good work, everyone. Praise your dogs. We're going to move to the next exercise. We're going to talk now about conditioning our dogs to symptoms or sounds So this is talking about task foundations. So does anybody want their dog to alert or respond to sounds or other things in the environment, or things that are going on with you, like symptoms of your disability? Okay, so yes, all right, so everybody, okay, great. So when we want our dogs to alert us to something, there's two major components to training that. So one component is to train the dog to do the alert or response behavior. And that could be something like nudging you or bringing you something or doing deep pressure. It can be any number of different things. In most cases, it's something like making contact with you, nudging you. But the other component is to condition your dog to whatever the cue is. In this case, the cue is not us saying a word or doing a hand gesture. The cue is the microwave beeping or the alarm clock going off, or you're starting to have a panic attack. Maybe you, when you're getting anxious, you pick at your thumbnail, or you jiggle your foot, or if it's you have a fainting disorder, it's your heart pounding. So in that case, this is what the cue is. It's a behavior that you're doing, or a sound from the environment, or some change in your physiology. So we need to start by making sure that our dog is really, really aware of whatever that cue is, and that they have a very strong positive association with it. So they want to like run right over when that thing happens and get a reward. So that is what we're going to start with. So what you want to do, if you can, if it's something that you can set up, that's ideal. So sounds in the environment is, something we have a lot of control over. So Sophie, I usually start training a sound alert with a kitchen timer. I was going to show you mine. I think I have it in the other room. Here it is. Just one of these. So training a dog to alert to a sound is great if you're deaf or hard of hearing. It can also be really useful if you want your dog to remind you to take medication, or you have cognitive issues and you forget to turn off the stove, or things like that. There's a lot of useful things you can do with a sound alert. I recommend getting a timer that doesn't make a beep when you're setting it. So this one I got specifically for that reason. If I turn it on and I set it and I hit the button, it doesn't go beep, which most timers do. And I can put the name of this, I can put the link for this one in the chat. And then what you're gonna do is you're going to make the sound occur and then feed high value food, and then the sound goes off and you stop feeding, pause, turn on the sound again, the sound goes on, good dog, good puppy, yay, feed, 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 feed. The sound stops and you pause, and you do that over and over and over and over. It's a lot of repetition. That's how you start this. Now, what if you're alerting, is anybody trained their dog to alert to a symptom instead of a sound? Okay, so in that case, you want to, if you can, do whatever you can to fake the symptom or make it look like the symptom. So if you, whoops, good boy. If you find it, if you have a fainting disorder or you have seizures, then you would just get on the ground and feed. And then you pause, you stand up, and you get on the ground and feed. Or if when you're starting to get anxious, there's things that you do that are the beginning of the anxiety episode, like I said, or sometimes it's things like scratching at your skin, or there's any number of different things that you can train your dog to do. So anything that your dog can notice, if it's the beginning of that symptom episode, you want to do that and then feed and then pause. You want the pause to vary in length so that you don't accidentally get into a rhythm. We're very rhythmic. Our dogs are very rhythmic, and they could just think, oh, I just get a treat every 3.5 seconds. So the pause is important, and the varying the length of the pause is important. So this is how you start out with this, is just doing the thing and feeding. I can show you what it looks like with Gromit. I've started to train him to this timer. And then there's a lot of generalization where they have to learn to do this from a distance and around distraction, but this is how we start it. So find it. Good boy. Yes, good job. Good boy. Did you notice that I put the food right on the timer? I want my dog to think that the sound is the source of the food. So I'm going to put the food as close to or on the source of the sound as I can. I'm just moving him away so you can see what that looks like, but you don't need to move your dog away when you get started. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. When you get started, find it. When you get started, it's just going to look like this. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. Find it. It's right here. Find it. Good boy. Good boy. Good job. I'm adding a longer pause this time. Good boy. Good job. So, Sophie, the nice thing about this is that you can see when the timer goes off. Eventually, if you start moving away from the timer, what I suggest is that you can use something like a remote feeder, like a manners minder or a treat and train, and put the timer next to it. So when the timer goes off, you can just dispense from where you are. And you might need to have another timer that you set at the same time so you know when the timer is going off, since you won't be able to hear it. And the same idea would apply if I was getting my dog used to, I had a client who would scratch her arms until they bled. She just didn't realize she was doing it. Excuse me. So we just started by, in that case, she would scratch and then good boy, good dog, good job. And then scratch. Yes, good job. Good puppy. Good boy. Yes, good dog. Good boy. Questions about that? Okay, great. So give this some thought. Think about what you want to condition your dog to, and you can start this training at any time. If you have symptom episodes that you don't control, they happen when you're not trying to train. The ideal is, if you can, when those are happening, that you just call the dog over or go to the dog and just feed, feed, feed while you're having symptoms. So if you have a panic attack or you have a low blood glucose or whatever the symptom is, um, you just reward your dog every time that happens. So they start to notice that and be like, ooh, this is when I get a treat party. If you're not able to do that yourself, if there's somebody else around who can just call the dog over to you while you're having symptoms and just feed the dog in the presence of your symptoms, that's great. So if you have a friend or family member or coworker who knows, oh, when you are having these symptoms, just call the dog over and give them treats. That's how you would start that.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So if you were treating this and the thing you wanted them to respond to is like if I'm lying on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and I want her to come lay on my chest,
Mm-hmm.
or like, because she's not gonna alert if I'm like, because she wouldn't be telling me I'm already there. Would I lay on the floor and feed treats on my chest?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and if she's not comfortable doing that right off the bat, just lay on the floor and give her treats next to you. And then
She
over
tends to
time, you
jump
could,
on me anyway. Like
oh, perfect.
she tends to jump on me and lay down if I'm even
Great.
just like playing with her on the floor, but
Yes.
not always. So I
Yeah.
want to get that more
Yeah,
consistent.
absolutely. That's perfect. Then just lay on the floor, put the treats on your chest, pet, praise, treat, whatever your dog wants can be the reward. We mostly talk about food, but a lot of times, our dogs are concerned about us, and just praising and petting them is also reinforcing. Okay. Good job, everyone. Thanks for your great questions, and have a good weekend.